said I was overreacting, and I believed him, until I saw what a real relationship looks like. My boyfriend hated when I showed any emotion. If I cried during a sad movie, he'd say, "Stop being such a baby." If I got excited about something, he'd snap and say, "Calm down, you're embarrassing me." If work made me upset, he'd walk out of the room saying, "I can't deal with your drama." Every single day he told me I was too sensitive, too emotional, too much. Why are you crying over something so stupid? You're overreacting again. No one else gets this upset over nothing. After a certain point, I started believing his words. I started apologizing constantly. I'm sorry for crying. I'm sorry for being excited. I'm sorry for having feelings. I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was broken. Then one day a friend of mine invited me for dinner at her place, but the way she spoke felt weird. Trust me, you'll see a whole new world. I had no idea what she meant by that, but I knew that her boyfriend would be home and she wanted to introduce us, so I went. 20 minutes into dinner, Janine's phone rang. It was her mom. I watched her face crumble as she listened, and by the time she hung up, she was in tears. Apparently, her childhood dog had to be put down. She started venting, words tumbling out between sobs about how unfair it was, how the vet could have done more, how her mom should have called her sooner so she could have said goodbye. She was angry and sad, and her voice kept breaking. I instinctively looked at her boyfriend, Jorge, waiting for the sigh, the eye roll, the stop being dramatic that I knew was coming. Instead, he quietly moved his chair closer to hers, put his hand on her back, and started actually comforting her. When she said the same thing for the third time about missing the dog's last moments, he just nodded. "That must hurt so much," he said. "Tell me about when you first got him." She did. For 40 minutes, she talked and cried and even laughed, remembering something funny the dog did, and Jorge just listened. No checking his phone, no shifting uncomfortably. He never said, "It's just a dog," or "You're getting yourself worked up over nothing." When she apologized for ruining dinner, he said, "You didn't ruin anything. This is more important." When she said she was being ridiculous crying this much, he shook his head. "You loved him for 15 years. Of course you're crying." She went to the bathroom to wash her face, and I sat there stunned. Jorge started clearing plates like nothing unusual had happened. "She really loved that dog," he said to me, smiling sadly. "I'm glad she can let it out." Let it out? Like emotions were natural? Like they were normal? Not something to apologize for or push down or fix immediately? When Janine came back, puffy-eyed and exhausted, Jorge had made her tea and put on her favorite show. She curled into him on the couch, still sniffling occasionally, and he just held her. No impatience, no irritation, just presence. Driving home, I felt something sharp in my chest. When I walked into our apartment, my boyfriend was gaming. I started telling him about Janine's dog, how sad she was, and 2 sentences in, he cut me off. "Did you really need to stay for all that drama? Sounds exhausting." I stood there in the doorway, coat still on, remembering Jorge's hand on Janine's back. "It wasn't drama," I said quietly. "Her dog died." He snorted, not even looking away from his screen. "And she needed to cry about it for what, an hour? Christ, you girls are something else. You girls, like having feelings was some female deficiency, like Jorge was somehow less of a man for comforting his girlfriend instead of mocking her grief. She's so dramatic." "No, she's not dramatic. You're just cruel." The words hung there between us. For once, I didn't apologize, didn't take it back, because I finally understood. I wasn't too much. He just couldn't handle anything at all.